I am so blessed to have had Ann as my friend all these many years, counting 67.
Well, I met Ann more than 60 years ago. And my family had moved from North Carolina, and I went to Bartram. I was a new student at Bartram. And Ann was really nice to me, and she was a year older, so that was very special.
We have pictures, family pictures, of Ann when she was a little girl, and usually around horses. My dad had show horses. Our parents were close friends.
How would I describe Ann? Terrific, all around wonderful, bright, beautiful, perfect woman.
She's very funny. She writes beautifully. She has a lot of pizzazz, if you want to call it that.
The things I've treasured about Ann over the years are certainly a keen intellect, a very loving heart, and just a wicked, fabulous sense of humor.
Ann was always the most fun of all. So of course I was attracted to her for a friend because I'm the one who likes to giggle in the back row, and so did she. So we had a good time.
Well, personally, I think Ann's greatest gift's her little waist. I'm so envious. I love her little tiny waist. It's just like an ant.
What was she like back in high school?
She was a lot nicer.
She's smart, but knows when to conceal it. She's got a wicked sense of humor. She knows how to put the knife in quickly before you even know it's there. She's very warm and a wonderful friend.
Is Mom just your absolute favorite client ever?
Oh, absolutely, except the days I give her a haircut. And then she hates me for 2 weeks.
I met David in 1967 when I had my first job with Computer Power, his company. When I passed him in the hall, he was always extremely focused on something.
For the last 15 or 20 years, my office was right next to David's office in this building that we shared. And every day when I'd come to work, I could tell what David was thinking about because he put his notes up on the whiteboard.
I would ask him a question, and not only would he answer it, he would explain more about it, and I always had the sense that he was just smarter than everybody else in the room.
After successfully launching and growing CPI, David became a bit of a venture capitalist and invested in a number of enterprises, all of which were very successful. But in all of those, he asked his friends to become shareholders or partners in the venture.
They even used to take me on sales trips because a lot of times the big banks that were their customers had concerns over the legality of a small company in Jacksonville, Florida. I think we only lost one account during all that time to those big banks.
Tenacity is a good word to describe David. I saw that with some of his friends as well that have been very successful, is that they've got this destination, they kind of look through that pipe. Doesn't matter what they've got to go through to get to that spot, how much time it's going to take, who has to be persuaded or talked into it. They're going to get to that other mountaintop.
And of course, David was playing great tennis, and we had some boys who really became tennis players, and they just thought he was wonderful. He was their role model, kind of. Everybody would say, there goes David Hicks.
Ann was at Mount Holyoke and David was at Amherst when they met, and then they got married and went off to Harvard Business School, and I was very afraid that we'd lost Ann, but David brought her back.
I remember when they moved back to Jacksonville, and David was very Yankee. Jacksonville is a little bit more sophisticated than it used to be.
Mother brought my brother and I into town to the hospital to see Ann. She wanted to visit Ann, of course, and to see baby Deborah. David probably does not remember this, but he came barreling down these flights of stairs, landed on both feet, had this huge, satisfied-looking smile on his face, and took off down the hallway.
I have this photographic picture of David and this precious Deborah. And she walked up to him and put her arms around him, and he put her arms around her. And I thought, what a wonderful father, and he has been. He's been a wonderful father to all three of those children.
The reason that Ann and David make such a great team is because they're yin and yang. They are right brain, left brain. They are the perfect complement.
David could be brash. He would say, more or less what he was thinking, whether or not it might come across well to his audience. Ann was always, now David, and putting a little bit of a buffer out there.
When they're home, this is pointing out the difference in their personalities. That David would be on the riverside looking at the beautiful river and enjoying its peace, and Ann would be in the kitchen, which is on the street side, see who was coming by and where they were going. But they both appreciated each other's views, which I thought was a great way of summing the two of them up.
The first 30 years is for learning, the second 30 years is for earning, and the third 30 years is for returning. And they really live that kind of motto.
I think they both have passion for the same things. Certainly education, I would put at the top of the list. The arts, they've done a lot for the arts, and certainly for housing.
The Housing Authority was a part of the City of Jacksonville. It was actually a department of the City of Jacksonville. And it was a tremendous failure. When David took over, we were scoring in the 50s. Just before the third year, we were scoring 90, which is a high performer, which did put us in the top 10% of agencies in the country.
And from there, he went on to another one of his big long balls that he occasionally would talk about, is our Habitat for Humanities that we call Habijacks here. And we went to really one of the most successful habitat programs in the entire world.
I actually got to study in Taiwan for 2 weeks this summer, and the Gray Scholarship is what ended up paying for that with the stipend. And I was just astounded that I would be able to travel halfway across the world just by, the kindness of two people that I've never even met.
They just have so much faith in what I can do, and it's just really amazing that they trust that I'm gonna do great things with their scholarship.
Ann and David built lights to light up this cathedral at night. So they lit us up. And I think that's what they do. They light up the community.
And you drive by somewhere, and if you see a Hick's name on the side of a building, on a roster of board members or list of donors, you know that that institution is really worthy.
I think their legacy will be they left not only Jacksonville but the world a better place because they were here. A beautiful couple that did that.
Somebody asked me what I'd learned from David. And the thing that I've learned from David is if he has an idea, I want to invest in it because David is smart and the things he's done turn out well.
You go into battle with confidence, but he goes into battle with victory. He knows it's going to happen, and I've never seen that. I'd like to think I've learned that, but I don't quite think I've got there.
David had more of an influence on me than anybody in my life, with the exception of my father.
He's the kind of man you want to aspire to be. He took the gifts that God gave him and he used those to help many, many, many people.
Ann and David mean so much to so many people, it would be hard to even start with a list.
And being from Colorado, you have welcomed me as one of you. And that's been very, very comforting, very helpful, very welcoming.
And we have loved having you in Vail for these last 20-odd years, I think, so that we get to see you in all seasons.
It has been such a privilege to spend time in their homes and in their company all these years. I've learned so much from them both. I've been lucky enough to be able to live vicariously through their eyes and help to bring the beauty into their homes.
You have been so many things to both of us, but perhaps your greatest gift to me can be summed up in one word: godmother?
I think probably the most important thing they've done, and certainly what I'll remember them as, is creating a wonderful family and raising wonderful children.
It's hard to think of another family that's produced so many family members that have been hugely successful in almost anything they've attempted to do. It's really, really remarkable.
Over the last 50, 60 years, no one stands taller in the community than David and Ann Hicks. People who know them are proud to be their friends.
Hi, Gran and Granddaddy. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for everything that you do for me. Just want to give you a shout out.
We just feel so fortunate every single day that we have two amazing mentors and family and inspiring people to help guide us since we were very, very little.
You're the best Gran and Granddad. Love you.
Love you, Gran and Granddaddy. I just want you to know that I love you so much, and I seriously cannot thank you enough for all the opportunities you've provided me with throughout my entire life.
It's been such a blessing having them live only 2 houses down from me. I just want to say I love you guys and thank you for giving me so much love and support and just giving me the best life.
We love you, Gran and Granddaddy. You both make everything we do so special and meaningful. We are very lucky to have you in our lives.
Thank you, Gran and Granddaddy, for everything you've done for our family over the years, for the amazing trips and the holiday celebrations, and for being at all my sporting events and everything growing up. And just want to say thank you, and I love you guys.
Hi, Gran and Granddaddy. I love you both very much, and I'm so thankful for your constant love and support. I feel so lucky to have you both as grandparents and role models.
I just want to say how much I admire how much love and support you guys show towards your family and the Jacksonville community, and how proud I am to be a part of the Hicks clan.
We love you, Mom and Dad. Thanks for being such great role models.
I love you, Gran and Granddaddy.